here already. All right. Good evening. Welcome to Injustice Investigations. I'm your host, Al Scott. Uh, Ms. Johnson, I see you. Good evening to you. Jammer, I see you. Good evening. Bates, good evening. Thank you for tuning in as well from Baltimore. I see 48. Good evening to you. Crazy P. Well, else would she be but right here with me? Let's see. I see Jamie Lee. Good evening to you. Dana Hudson. Good evening to you. Mama Misha. I guess that was it. Good evening to you as well. Houston is in the building. Miss Small, I thank you for tuning in to tonight's broadcast. Miss Wiggins is from North Carolina. Thank you. Thank you. Right back at you, Washington. Thank you kindly. Shannon Lewis saying hello to everyone. We thank you kindly. My good friend Lisa Robinson is in the house. Thank you. Pretty Saucy is in the house as well. Good evening. Tina Holland is in the house. Good evening. Miss I'm so ever hot pink. Good evening to you as well. Gloria Bates. I'm always uh, waiting to listen to such intelligence. You don't say nothing else tonight during this live broadcast. I think you just preached. Okay. I thank you all for tuning in. Uh, last night, well, not last night, it started up in the daytime. uh, Anything that could go wrong for a black man yesterday, it landed at my doorstep. So it was a hell of a day yesterday. And then we lost signal, so we had to cut the YouTube off, and we tried to go to Facebook, and I sent people the wrong way. It was a terrible day for me. So I deeply ask you all for your sincere forgiveness. I mean, it's just life. Shit happens, but it is what it is. It ain't what it ain't. But again, seriously, I do apologize for that. So I thank you all for tuning in to tonight's broadcast. Hopefully, we'll get it right this evening. So, tonight, if you look at the title, it's an open conversation night, and we're talking about the recent death or missing children or kids who have been kidnapped. And so it's an open conversation where I want you all to call into the show. I'm asking that if you can, limit your comments to 3 minutes if you can, because we have other people wanting to get in and share some of their thoughts about what's going on with the kids that are always coming up. Uh, Hurt, neglected, missing, and murdered. So it's an open conversation tonight. I want to hear from you. We're doing some research today, Miss Jade and I, and children face the highest risk of homicides by a parent or someone they know. The highest risk of homicide. Earlier today, we released a post, and it had, I think Malia was on it, uh, Adams was on it, and Cupcake was on it. Uh, Basically, it said when stranger danger becomes mother and father. Now, let me. I hope some of y'all are on this channel tonight. If you are, I'm directing this to you. That girl, KK. Good evening. Thank you for tuning in as well. Is that Shenanigans? Shangapu? We'll find out her name before the night's over. Russell, good evening. Okay, here's the thing. When we put the post out today, and it said, when stranger danger becomes mother father, I had a couple of people on our Injustice Facebook page. They said, not one of these kids were killed by a parent. Well, I disagree with you on that. We know for a fact Brittany killed Malia Davis. We know that. And I guess sometimes what I said to certain people, it becomes esoteric because you just can't figure it out. But in your rush to try to broadcast your intelligence, trying to correct me, all you do is broadcast your ignorance. For one, I said, when stranger danger becomes mother, father, here's what you're not understanding. When we see cases that did not directly involve a mother or father, but we know they played a role in that. And if I had to pick one role tonight that they played, I would say whoever they let in that did harm to this child, that killed this child, the blood is on their hands. So again, when stranger danger becomes mother, father, as I said last night, we are to protect our children, just like Secret Service protects the children of the President of the United States. A.L. Smith, good evening. Thank you for tuning in. Um, now, when we see parents that are acting strange, their body language, they're trying to make a tear, those become red flags, especially when you've been doing this for a long time. You can spot bullshit others may not see. And I said that because many people, they get emotional when they see, for instance, the mother cry. Y'all pray for her. She killed the damn child. Why would we pray for her? That's super stupid. It is ridiculous to run and tell and run and believe the first story that you hear, and you have not heard the other side. So you're basing your opinion off hearing one side, and that makes you super stupid. You got to get past the emotions. You got some of them, they cry so well, they perform excellent, but they're nothing but actors. They may be nominated for an Oscar. If they win, I don't know, but I know for a fact they will be nominated for an Oscar because they're actors. The father, the mother have a moral responsibility to protect that child. It's as simple as that. I don't know what the hell is going on, but one thing I disagree with when a lot of people say it's drugs. Well, a lot of parents that done harm to their children or killed them or got rid of them, whatever way they did, not all was on drugs. Not all was in alcohol. Some of them never touched drugs. Liquor never met their lips. So there are multiple reasons why parents become stranger danger. It's just like if you go into a store with someone and you really going to buy something, and they're going to buy something, but they steal $30 worth of merchandise, get to the register and spend $4. You didn't see them do it. Y'all came in together. Surveillance caught you getting out the car, and you was about to go back until security stopped. Do you not know you can get that same damn charge just for hanging around? Oh, I'm gonna take my charge. You can't take shit. It's not up to you. If they give it to you, they give it to you, but they can also give it to me. So you're not in a predicament to say, I'm gonna take the charge. But I thank you for the offer, bastard. So there are many reasons why we're blaming some parents this evening or lately for what's going on with the children. Um, Someone says mental illness is a big problem in the world today. That's Miss Page. She is absolutely positively unquestionable. She's right. We talked a while back about Munchausen syndrome, which we when we were talking about Brittany Bowens, we're not saying that she She has that, but some of the characteristics of it she exemplifies. So, but only a trained profession can diagnose someone with such illnesses as Munchausen disease or schizophrenia, whatever the case may be. But for a while, we're going to be doing a lot of stories on children, and we're trying to find out what the hell is going on. They're coming up dead. You're dropping cakes off at birthday parties, and you leave your child. I don't know if it's true, but speaking with Miss Ferris, Miss Ferris was sharing some things with me yesterday and today that the lady uh, said who hosted the birthday party that Cupcake was kidnapped from. That they basically they wasn't invited. Uh, 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 Sandy B, thank you for your donation this evening. I see you. Gratefully appreciate you. Um, now, there's another story. No, the mother didn't drop off. Well, how did they get there? We're told they walked there. So I'm taking that they don't live too far from where the party was held. But you have at least two or three different stories out. So the police know more than we know, but with what little we have, we don't know who in the hell to believe. Did you take her or not? Okay, well, somebody says her and her brother walked to the party.
Here's a matching video.
What the hell? I ain't asked you to say nothing. Oh, the brother was 10 years old. So therefore, in my eyes, in the law eyes, the 10-year-old cannot be the guardian or be held responsible for the 3-year-old, for he is nothing but a child himself. You can't have a child watching a child. That's not how it works. It doesn't. Tracy Thomas says they were still unsupervised. Absolutely, positively, unquestionable. I agree with you uh, on that. Yeah, in fact, remains that they they were unsupervised and stuff. Good evening, caller. You're live on the air. What's your name and what state are you calling from? Is it? I guess you don't want to talk on air. Uh, in some of the stats that we pulled up, it says that child homicide is the most extreme form of violence against children and tragic events with serious effects on families and the community. I'm going to read the latter part of that again. With serious effects on families and the community. So we know why the family gets upset when a family member, a child is missing, been hurt, been killed. We can just about, throw our hands up and tell you what that is. What about the community? Here's what's going on. The community gets pissed because they see neglect. They see trifling mothers. They see no good, insignificant fathers. And they get pissed. That's why it has an effect on the community. And then you would have some of you had have the audacity to come out and say that we're judging. I think her name is April Thomas. That's Cupcake's mother. Only God can judge. Only God can judge. We all fall short of the glory of sin. Tupac started that bullshit. Only God can judge. Don't listen to Tupac. Good evening, caller. You're live on air. What's your name and what state are you calling from?
My name is Priscilla. I'm calling from North New Jersey.
Priscilla.
I was calling.
Thank you for tuning in.
Oh, okay, good. Listen, I follow you all the time. I'm on this situation about the Cupcake kids.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm wondering what happened to the other little child she was with, because it showed two of them running away. right?
Oh, right. Do me one favor, please, Priscilla. Turn your volume down on your TV or your laptop, please, just a little bit.
Okay. I never heard anybody mention anything about the second child, even though it's heart wrenching what happened to Cupcake. Um, why was they unsupervised? Did anybody see anything? But I saw two toddlers running with these adults.
Well, you're absolutely right. There were, I saw two. Yeah, there were two, and I remember the spokesperson said that when a reporter asked him, was Cupcake one of the two that they saw on surveillance camera? And he said, yeah, I can confirm that Cupcake was one of them. And um, I don't think they showed the part when they grabbed her and left, uh,
Mm.
unless I missed it. But I would hope that they wouldn't do that because, it's still fresh and that would be uh, hard for anyone to deal with, whether you're a family member or not. Seeing Cupcake being kidnapped, and it's like it can't be that damn easy. Uh, but yeah, so I mean that I don't know about the child, but I do know the police said they have spoken with that child and with that child's mother. They doing the news conference one day. They did say that they had made contact with her. But if you're throwing a party, I know I'm old, but back in the day, a child's party was when the sun was out. That's when you throw a birthday party uh, for children, and you made sure that they were supervised. If you didn't know the parents, I don't care how much the child kicked and screamed, the child wasn't going.
You're damn right. And I think, like, just like everybody else probably will agree with Brittany Bowens, this broad here, I think they need to start holding these parents accountable. Make them back to go to jail. I'm sorry. If at any point you could prove negligence and your child was killed, kidnapped, or stolen, and you was there, like the other lady with the Alvarez kid, the 5-year-old kid that's still missing, talking about she was sitting in the car while the kids ran to the park.
Yeah.
She need to go to jail too. They need to start sending the negligent parents to jail. Ain't nothing to talk about.
Well, I agree with you on that. And if they would do that, if they would change some laws, make the penalties a little stiffer, I believe we might begin to see a decrease in negligence and abuse and harming and killing kids. But right now, as the lady said the other night on the show, the laws are not strong enough. They're kind of weak to where she did it. You got that hunch, but the law said blase blase. So you don't go and get them, at least not right off. You don't go and get them and stuff. But I believe that if you have some suspicion there, that I know they can hold you for 48, 72 hours on suspicion. Well, if we would change that to 30 days, we're gonna hold you for 30 days until we find out what's going on.
That's right.
I mean, I'm trying to make it as difficult for them to want to do wrong and extremely hard for them to walk away without a scratch after they have inflicted harm upon a child. So that's the way I would uh, like to see that flip, and the penalty. It should be drastically increased. And there shouldn't be a bail. You stand there, if you win,
I totally agree. I totally agree with you. I'm getting scared. I'm thinking something weird is going on with all these babies getting murdered back to back to back. But listen, I appreciate your channel. I'm definitely a fan. I stay tuned in. I love your energy. Keep doing what you're doing, and I'll keep watching.
I promise you I will, and I love you big time. Thank you so much.
Love you back. Okay.
Bye bye. Quickly, if you have a pen, paper, uh, Miss Jade put together some things. We were looking at some warning signs that a child might be being a victim of abuse, physical or sexual or neglect. Because before anything really happens bad, there are always warning signs. There are red flags. But if we're not schooled on what to look for, then we'll miss the red flags every day. They might live in a 2-story home. They nice, they clean, they're in school, the parents are successful. but it doesn't mean that that is always a home for that child. It doesn't mean that. There can be some small signs that something just might not be right. And so we got to start putting the signs out. We got to have workshops so we can let community know this is what you need to look for. When nobody reported any abuse from Malia Davis daycare, okay, that bothers me because if I'm looking at the pictures and I see them, I know damn well whoever was working at the daycare, you had to see. But when you don't report, to me, you condone it. It's just the way I see it. But one of the signs, we can look for that a child may be a victim of neglect, abuse, emotional or physical. The child avoids any kind of touch or physical contact. Thank you, Queen Supreme. Love you big time. Um, well, why would that be a sign? Well, that would be a sign because the child is terrified of anybody touching him or her because anytime somebody touches him or her, they immediately go back into um, where they were being molested or raped or tortured. It triggers that memory back up. And so that's why the child can be so jumpy all the time. If a child, number two, is afraid to go home, I think that might be one of the biggest red flags it is because uh, I say the same thing about women, especially during domestic violence awareness month. It should never hurt to go home. It shouldn't. And when you have a child that's afraid to go home, would probably rather stay at school all day or would rather go over his friend's house that might not be as clean as theirs or whatever. I'm just trying to draw something up here. That tells me a lot about where that child lives. It's pretty on the outside, just like a casket. So when a child is terrified to go home, you have to ask yourself, when that door closes in that house, what goes on that makes the child so edgy? Like Queen, I think that's a red flag. Oh, ain't nothing wrong with her. She didn't clean her room up. That's why she acting like that. Get your ass on in there. And you be like, oh, okay, that's it. They won't let the child speak. They oftentimes they speak for the child because if the child speak, somebody's going to jail. Somebody's going to jail if the child speaks. The child is always on edge, always afraid of, watch this, number three, the child always on edge, afraid of his or her own shadow. Number four, the child wear clothing that doesn't match the weather to cover up bruises. That's an excellent one right there. And we've all seen it. Why the child got on that long sleeve shirt and it's hot out here? Now, why she let that child come out like that? She had to. She had to. Because if she didn't, her ass might go to jail. That's why they have on clothing that doesn't fit the weather. Or we're gonna look at Brittany Bowens quickly. If something happens to the child and the child has to go to the hospital and the child can't speak or is afraid to speak and tell what's going on, but the mother or the father or the legal guardian or whoever's there, they speak for the child. If the child look like they want to say something, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Well, um, when Brittany finally took Malia to the hospital and they couldn't determine how the injuries occurred, so it was just inconsistent with what Brittany said happened. But I say this all the time, but the doctor said one thing I can confirm is that Malia Davis had a previous brain injury that was never reported. That's another red flag. Afraid to go home. We just covered that one. Suddenly avoiding a certain person who the child was at one time crazy about. Run to him, love to be around. But now you see a withdrawal. It's like, watch it. You have to watch it. Pounce red flags, exactly. Have to watch that. You have to watch that. Sudden pain or disconnect, no, certain pain or discomfort around genitals, blood or stain in underwear, being knowledge of sexual activities. The child constant worry about doing something wrong. It doesn't matter if the child sit down. They didn't sit down right. Took them too long to sit. They sat too fast. Thank you, Pouncy. Um, Something's wrong. Malia Davis. I looked in her eyes. She looked scared. She looked traumatized. She was laying on somebody's breast in the car and took a picture, and she smiled. But she looked so weak. It looked like she could have passed out at any second. But when you can look them in their eyes and you begin to read things, that's another red flag. We must report this to the authorities. If we're wrong, then okay, we're wrong. But I believe we have a duty to do that, especially now, because it doesn't look like the ones that are having the kids give a damn about the kids. Some girls are in such a damn rush to have a child, and she don't know how to take. Didn't know right now. She's don't know how to take care of her own damn self. But you're gonna bring a child into the world. They're gonna say your mama and grandmama. Really? You didn't think this thing out. You didn't add up the cost. So when the child comes on, well, uh, what's that club in Shreveport they used to go to? They shut down. Uh, Come on, Miss Farris or somebody on here from Shreveport know that club downtown. Where you would get shot at the drop of a dime. Lil Boosie came to the damn club so much he should have moved next door. What's the name of that damn club? Uh, we'll figure it out. Um, Depression and very low self-esteem. There is no reason a child should ever be depressed. No, is it Coco? Yeah, Coco's. That's it. That's it, Coco. Oh yeah, you been there, huh? Who said that? Oh, Bouncy Beanie Coco, hey. Danger zone. That was a danger zone. When you see a child depressed, that should be enough to stop you. Whatever you're doing, it should stop you on your damn tracks. Be like, what the hell is this child depressed about? The only worries, if they will be in it, that a child should have is what for Christmas he or she will be getting. That should be the only worry. The only worry, yeah. Malia Davis spent more time in hospital with brain surgeries than she spent on the playground. That was another sign. Headaches and stomach aches with no clear cause. Child doesn't seem close to a parent or a caregiver. The child doesn't seem close to a parent or a caregiver. Yeah, I probably get tired of me talking about Brittany Barnes, but I'm gonna be doing it for a long time. Um, When I saw Darion Vince and Malia always looked like she was in Disney World. She was extremely happy. Extremely happy. Somebody said talk about it. Amen. She was extremely. He's in the car one time and they were singing to each other. And she was looking at him smiling. But when I see Malia Davis with Craig Davis, no! That's what Malia said to her daddy. I don't know what happened, but she had the helmet on, and I think he was laying in the bed. Whatever he said or did, it made her angry. And I smiled because I said, look at little Malia. She mad. She said, no! But she never looked at it. In another video, I saw the same thing. Okay. When a child doesn't look happy with a parent, we need to look into that. We have to. We're giving you these warning signs tonight because there's a crisis of kids being neglected and killed in this country. And we got to aggressively approach it so we can get the numbers to drastically decrease. If some of us had knew the warning signs with some of the kids, they would probably be alive today. They probably would be alive today. The child shows little interest in friends and activities. If that child don't want to play with friends or get out and have a good time, something going on. Good evening, calling you live on air. What's your name and what state are you calling from this evening?
Hey, Mr. Scott, this is Jay.
Hey, Jay. How are you, Miss Jay?
Listen, how are you? Just wanted to address a couple of comments from our viewers tonight.
Okay.
Especially one that Ace had mentioned. Hopefully he's still live with us right now. But his point, Mr. Ace's point was the parents should be charged because of the neglect. The neglect comes from leaving that child unattended. I wholeheartedly agree with him. I believe you do too, as we have had conversations about this particular issue with Little Cupcake.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, he's absolutely positive. Unquestionable. He's right about that. He is.
Yeah, our hearts go out to them because they have suffered a loss. They did lose a child tragically, and we embrace them as parents. However, they have to understand their responsibility in this baby's demise. They did not render who they should have been to her, and they should have protected her at all costs, and they did not. And for that, they have to answer for that, whatever that answer is.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great point. You're absolutely right about that. And I think what a lot of people are missing is that my child is my responsibility. That's my child. Now, when I open the door to let harm come in, and I'm not checking to see what's going on with my child, okay, guess what? Indirectly, I hurt my child my damn self. Indirectly. So we have to start holding the parents accountable. I know where you dropped off at, but they said they didn't know you. And even if they did know you, why would you just drop off and go and just leave? You don't do that. You just don't. So until we start changing the laws and getting parents or step dads or stepmoms locked up, I'm afraid that it is only going to get worse.
Yes. Yes, and I just want to take this opportunity to thank all of our subscribers, remind you guys to please hit that like button. If you can hit the like button during the live show, you'll be able to hit it on your cell phones once we end. Thank you guys so much, Mr. Scott. You're doing a great job. Love you, sir.
I love you too. Appreciate you. Talk to you in a bit. The child always looking dirty. That's another flag. Child's always dirty. Hey, Renee, That's another. The child is never clean. Even on holidays, the child is neglected. Being left alone or in the care of other young children. As we said earlier, you 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 can't have a child watching a child. You can't. They're not responsible. I mean, they're children. The child gonna watch the child. Okay. Good evening, caller. You're live on air. What's your name and what state are you calling from this evening?
Hi, this is Queen Supreme, and I'm calling from Minnesota.
Thanks for calling in, Queen Supreme.
I just, I just really quick wanted to say, as a child, I was, obviously once a child, I was molested by a number of people. I was in a home where my mother was very abusive, and I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for covering these stories. And I haven't been commenting sometimes because I had to move my channel to other channels, but I watch you and I share your content on social platforms and stuff like that. So I just thank you so much.
You are indeed welcome.
Some justice.
And I greatly appreciate that. And thank you for supporting the show. And thank you for sharing the videos. I greatly appreciate it. And we love you big time.
Thank you. Much love back. Go ahead. I'm going to get out of your way.
Right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. The child is missing a lot of school. And when you see the child not in school, and you see the child not in school, and you see the child not in school, some people say that's a damn shame they won't send their child to school. That's a sign they don't give a damn. So if they're not concerned with getting the child educated, they may not be concerned about the child at all. The child doesn't make the decision whether or not he or she will go to school today. That's not for you. You don't do that. We do that. But if we're not making sure our children are in school, that's something that we need to address. A child's weight is up and down, up and down, up and down. Reminds me of Darion Vince when he shared something with a family member just days before Malia would go missing and later be found dead. He said, that girl crazy. Oh, Brittany. Why you said she's crazy? Well, they knew she was crazy. She always beating that child, going at a child, be nervous, sitting on the floor eating. I said, why you gotta sit down? And when she see me, she would smile and get up, sit. And we verified this with the family member that called and told us. We did. I have to leave with her sometimes. But before she would go to him, oftentimes they look at each other and she'll look at Brittany. Brittany give it a look, she don't move. It's not enough for you and I to sit and just talk about children that are being neglected or dying at the hands of the ones who should be protecting them. We have to start having serious dialogues about what can I do? What can I do? The first thing you can do is look at it like this. My child is your child and your child is my child. Now it's time for you to get involved. So that's why we're sharing warning signs with you all tonight that we need to look for. Now, a lot of these on here, probably just about all of them, I didn't know about. I didn't. And so we're going to upload this to the Injustice Facebook page and Jade Injustice Facebook page shortly after we end tonight's show. If you suspect child abuse, it isn't a private matter or a family problem. A child's physical and emotional well-being, and maybe if his or her life could be at stake. I think something is not right there, Miss J. You messed that up. Yeah, right there. Okay, I know what you're trying to say. Okay, uh, the National Child Abuse Hotlines. Here's what they say: you don't need proof to report. All you need to report is a hunch. That's it. You don't need to see the scars, the bruises, or see it for yourself. If you feel it in your spirit that something's wrong, call. Make that call. Kids, if they're not dying at the hands of those who should be protecting them, I got 8, 9, and 10-year-old children, 8, 9, and 10 years old committing suicide. No child on planet Earth should be that emotionally disturbed. So sometimes being in the home, the good parents even miss the warning sign. A couple of days ago, I forgot how old the guy was, but he took his own life because he was being bullied at school. We must get involved. The National Child Abuse Hotline is 1 800 422 4453. Again, the National Child Abuse Hotline is 1 800 422 4453. And you do not have to leave your name. It's not enough to say you care, but don't care enough to make a change. This is becoming an epidemic. And when it becomes an epidemic, it becomes the norm. And we have to become the intervention that is needed to help correct this. We have to step in. You have to be ready to get cussed out and called everything but the name on your birth certificate when it comes to the children. If they don't give a damn, the ones that helped brought them into this world, it's no big deal. That's where you and I and others come in. Um, Approximately 95,000 children are murdered each year globally. Approximately 95,000 kids. An estimated 1,720 children died from abuse or neglect in 2017. You have nearly 5 children dying every day from abuse or neglect. Every day. Now, another report that's very alarming is that the numbers are not correct because a lot of cases go unreported or the diagnosis as to how the child died is wrong. So that's why I can boldly say the stats that we're pointing out tonight could be wrong. And those in CPS and with the courts and with the police department, if they're not trained, if they don't give a damn, that's where the numbers become messed up because they're what they're reporting is not true. So we need to know the warning signs to look for. We must get involved. Parents were responsible uh, for 16% of child's murders, and they were all under the age of 5. The parents killed the very life they helped bring into existence. And according to the FBI statistics, 450 children are murdered by their parents each year. Each year. That's alarming, very disturbing. But if you don't think it will happen in your family, you're a fool with a problem. Some things may be happening now, but if you don't know what to look for the umpteenth time, the warning signs will be missed. They're killing the babies as if the babies are nothing but bad seeds. If you expect child abuse, remember you don't need proof. All you need to do is pick up that phone and make that call. You can remain anonymous. This is getting worse. And even though we know the police departments sometimes drop the ball, they miss it. We can't do that. And when CPS fails to do their job as to protect the child, then they must be held accountable. They must be. When investigators go out to investigate an accusation, they better make sure they do the job. If not, then result Malia Davis and others. We have to get involved. They're not going to save the children. You and I and others who really give a damn will save the children. And before I go, you do not have to have given birth to a child to be a mother. A lot of women have given birth to children, but it didn't make them a mother. They was anything but. Again, we'll be um, bringing some more statistics every night that we do these stories, and we want to continue an open dialogue. We must find a way to address this, approach it in ways that we haven't been approaching it. When if CPS and if the courts are using the same doctor over and over again, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, that too must change. Because to me, it can become a money thing. And that doctor knows what to say and what not to say. So at least every 2 years, we must change doctors. Anything that we can do to make sure it doesn't happen again while we still have breath, I think we have to do. We have to do it. Don't look for a reason to do it. Just do it. Don't say, well, I'm gonna do it because it was my child. That's not the way to look at it. If they're not gonna take care of the kids and you're pissed off about what's happening to the kids, prove it. Get involved. Get involved. Start the dialogue. If you know of a child that you think something is not right, you can call the hotline if you don't want to. You can call us. We don't need your name either. Give us information. And if you're wrong, then we're wrong. But one thing I am going to do is I'm going to thank you for doing it. And we're going to immediately look into it. I promise you that we will do. I'm tired of seeing RIP, RIP, RIP on children. Instead of saying RIP, we need to be saying LIP, live in peace. Live in peace. The children are not getting an opportunity to grow up. Some children never had a childhood for various reasons. So instead of waiting on the government to help us, as Too Short said, instead of waiting on the government to help us, we better help ourselves. It's as simple as that. It doesn't matter if they get mad. I wouldn't give a fuck. Would you rather for them to get mad and you called the authorities and the child was removed? Or would you just rather not say a damn thing and then watch the coroner pull up and take the child away? You don't need proof. You do not need proof. I love you as always. We thank you all for supporting this channel. If you have a loved one, a child that's missing, ran away, and you're having a hard time with the police or mainstream media, contact us. If they won't put it out, we will. We don't we don't have to abide by the law that in 40, 72 hours. Every second that a child is missing, to me, that child and the parent that cares, that's a critical moment. Critical moment. Each day went by and we didn't find Cupcake. If we was okay for 2 days, the third, fourth day, we're like, I don't think none of us are gonna like the end result. I don't. Let's do the right thing, people. Let's change the way our children are being treated. Investigate. You be nosy in other goddamn shit, so be nosy with this. Before I go, and we're gonna get out of here. We need your donations, please, to help us continue to do what we do and continue to fulfill our mission and help those who so desperately need our help. We'll never charge anyone for one red dime, but somebody has to foot that bill so we can continue to do what we do and go meet with the proper authorities or whatever needs to be done to not only bring light to cases like this, but try to help turn things around. So please, the Cash App, Alfonso Scott, $ Eddie Mays Boy. PayPal.me/injustice gotcha. If neither one of those work for you, call 1-888-357-3334, extension 3. And I promise you, Miss Jade will help you out with that. Incidentally, there is a new P.O. Box number, and I don't have it. I know Miss J does, and maybe she's put it out. I don't know. But if you would like information on that, again, you can contact Ms. Jade at 1-888-357-3334, extension 3. As always, I'm not always right, and you are not always wrong. Be it the Lord willing, we will come back and do this again. Remember, we have to protect the children. We have their lifelines. Enjoy y'all evening.